Hey, Facebook! Welcome to Facebook Friday.
Hi, everybody. Hope you had a great week. We're back here with you again.
Just the two of us tonight, and I think we're deviating from Holly's plan just a little bit. I think you were originally going to discuss Alani.
We've been back and forth on this a couple times, so you might have heard us say we're going to do Alani this week. You might have heard us say we're going to do Paradise Pier and the Good Neighbor Hotel.
That's why I never ask until actual Friday arrives.
And really, what it comes down to is, we as agents, we all have different strengths as far as what products we know the most about. So we try to make it so that whoever is here at least kind of knows what we're talking about, so that they're not, feeling like fish out of water.
So we're the people who kind of know about Paradise Pier and Disneyland, right. Good Neighbor Hotels.
And it turns out nobody else could join us tonight. So
yep, you're stuck with us.
I'm having trouble finding the page.
Oh, the page.
So,
okay.
I know you guys can see us on the Friends and Family Network there, but looking for the page so that I can edit, which is weird because it popped right up on my feed. Yeah. Anyway, so Ben's going to talk to you for a second while
technical
I figure this
difficulties
out.
podcast. Holly doesn't let me talk about this stuff normally, but since she's distracted, remember everyone, Spider-Man Homecoming in theaters right now. In fact, if we were not doing this for you because of our love of Disney, I would be in that theater right now with a bucket of popcorn the size of my head and an equally large soda.
I don't see our show.
Oh, what row? You want me to check and see if we're
I'm just going to pop up and check. So if you're watching us, hi, thanks.
Yeah, sorry. Technical difficulties podcast back in swing.
Yep.
Are we good?
We're live. Okay. I don't know why I can't see it on the page. Hi, Leah.
Hi, Leah. So do you want me to log into my account?
No, it should be fine. It's just not it's not showing up on the page to be able to share.
Okay. Well, just log in so I can check comments while you do all the work, because
I'm working on it.
I
think I picked the right page.
Definitely a slacker today.
Maybe I posted it on the regular travel page.
Ruh-roh.
I'd tell you to tell us where you can see us, but we can't read your comments right now, so working on it. I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure I pulled the family page. Hi,
guys. Holly took a very important business call immediately before logging on. Immediately before logging on. So that is our excuse for technical difficulties this week.
I booked somebody today and they wanted to do a deposit, so you don't tell people no, because that's just a silly thing to do.
Spider-Man Homecoming is out.
Oh, there we are. Okay. Jeez, Louise, it took forever for it to pop up.
Okay.
Okay. I'm getting there, guys. I'm sorry.
Facebook is slow.
Silly. And post. All right. So I can make sure you can hear us. Yep. Probably you can.
I'll check that. I'll check that.
Okay, Ben's
you start talking, because she actually did all the research, because I've had a crazy week at work.
Yeah, kind of crazy, a little bit crazy week myself. But anyway, here we are. Thanks for joining us. And news today. Phantasmic dining packages have been announced for Disneyland. Officially, Phantasmic will debut with its recreated format. Are we good? You can hear?
Yeah, I can hear.
Coolio. On July 17th, which coordinates with the D23 convention that's happening in Anaheim. So, if you want to see the most packed place that you've ever seen in your life, go see Phantasmic on July 17th at Disneyland.
Yeah, probably.
It's also the day of the 61st anniversary.
Oh.
It's the day Phantasmic reopens, and D23's in town.
Okay.
So, places you will not see me on July 17th
seriously.
are at the Rivers of America watching Phantasmic.
Yeah. Well, that's I always think I'd like to go to Celebration Orlando or something, and Star Wars.
You wouldn't.
And then I see it, and I'm like, there's way too many people there. Right. I'm sorry. No.
So, the Phantasmic dining package options are Blue Bayou, which for the 17th may or may not have actually opened yet, because it was sold out immediately at 6 a.m. We're thinking it might have not actually released.
And Blue Bayou's very good, by the way.
Blue Bayou's excellent. And I highly recommend that one, just because, it used to give you seating at Phantasmic, and it no longer does. Now all dining reservations with the Phantasmic package are standing room only. Which is kind of crappy, honestly. The other places that you can go, oh gosh, it just slipped my mind.
I'm sorry, I distracted you.
No, it's okay. There's a quick service option, and then Riverbell Terrace is the other option for sit down. Riverbell Terrace is doing a cool thing, because if you book an 8 o'clock dining reservation there, you're actually allowed to stay in your seat for Fantasmic.
Ooh.
So I'm kind of thinking, I'm taking Dad in January, in case, we didn't talk about that yet. And I'm kind of thinking we're going to maybe try to do that, because I think it's the only way he'll go see Fantasmic with me. If I tell him he has to stand for 2 hours, he's probably not going to go.
At Riverbell Terrace, I highly recommend the wedge salad with brisket on top. It was amazing.
And I recommend the chilled and grilled shrimp.
Yes. I wish I was there right now. But anyway. What else we got going on?
We also have New Year's Eve items at the Contemporary were announced this week, and I printed out a page to read up about them to tell you what they were.
Would you like me to go get that page?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
But there are New Year's Eve festivities happening at the Contemporary Resort.
Oh, that's nice.
So if you are there New Year's Eve, which I think applies to one of my clients specifically, so Travis, if you're watching and you want to do something for New Year's Eve, no, actually, they're leaving before that, I think. Never mind. Sorry, Travis. I'm pretty sure they're coming home earlier. So, but anyway, if you're at Disney for New Year's Eve, and you don't want to go to a park, and you don't want to go to a park, which we highly recommend you don't go to a park for New Year's Eve, the Contemporary has some lovely activities. They are doing some 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Get-togethers over there, and I would highly recommend checking out that option.
Hi, Howard. Hi, Leah. Hi, Sean. Hi, Kimberly.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, Serene.
Hi, guys.
Is this where we tell them about our New Year's Eve story, or should we do the rest of the news first?
I know we should share that sometime, but I don't know.
Okay,
maybe not right now.
We'll go with the rest of the
maybe
news.
like whatever show is close to New Year's Eve.
Okay.
Yeah, I just shared it with Ashley today, which I thought was really funny. So, I had never told her, and I can't believe it because it's a pretty funny story.
If you know it's a good Disney story, it's a disaster story. So.
Yeah. It's still a good story though. Captain's Grill has closed at the Yacht Club. That actually happened a while ago. They're doing a refurb. They're going to be reopening as Ale and Compass with New England-inspired menu. And to me, the highlight of this new location is going to be there's going to be a Coke freestyle machine.
By the way, Howard agrees that Disney plus holiday equals doom. That is correct, Howard.
Yeah. I know, I tried to talk Travis out of it. He's like, it's the only week we can go. That's all I got. So. But, I mean, it's fun. We were actually talking last night about maybe going back and trying it again. Maybe more aware of what it's like.
Yes.
So, we'll see.
We're doing it. We are.
I know. Also at World, extra magic hours for Pandora for on-site guests are through August 19th. So if your trip is coming up sometime this summer, going to want to know about, you have extra magic hours available to you specifically at Pandora. It's, from what we're hearing, all reports say it is the best way to see this land, because otherwise you're standing in insane lines because it's new. So anytime there's anything new at Disney, it's kind of like, are you sure you want to go yet? Are you sure you don't want to wait a minute? So,
hold on, I need to get ready to flip the table over real quick. I know what's coming.
Also this summer, so you might have extra magic hours at Pandora, but the Star Wars Galactic Spectacular fireworks are being preempted by Disney Movie Magic.
I'm going to need my red lightsaber.
I might need to flip the table with you, because honestly, the Star Wars show is so good. I really don't understand why. Why, Disney? Why? Leave it there. It's so good.
The only reason I can think of is if they are eventually going to move that show back to Star Wars Land. Hi, Alan.
Maybe.
And then they'll have two shows, but
they'd be two really similar shows.
I'm very upset that Disney can't have superheroes in their parks in Orlando, because I want to turn into the Hulk and smash stuff when I hear about that. So
I really kind of think that they're running a bunch of test shows just to see what is making people gravitate towards that show more than to maybe decide whether it's going to be like a movie front or if they're going to like make it a Star Wars show or move it back. It just seems like every couple of months they come out with a new version of the show on the theater.
Here's a pro tip. You paid $4 billion for it. Make it a Star Wars show.
Dear Disney.
Dear Disney.
Also, dear Disney, benches. They're your friends.
Trees also benches. Your friends. No.
Plant some flowers.
So angry when I saw that today.
And bouncing back to the West Coast for a minute, Splitsville is going to be coming to Downtown Disney at Disneyland. So if you're a fan of bowling and you like to pay extra for bowling,
If you like
no
fancy
particular
bowling.
reason other than having food with your bowling, and because it's at Disney, let's go.
Howard, I agree with you. Nothing beats Star Wars.
So that does it for the news. I mean, there was probably other stuff, but honestly, it's just been crazy this week.
Like,
did you hear anything else?
Well, I mean, there's like wild speculation going around that they're going to be adding Brazil to Epcot.
Oh, yes.
That
yes.
there's like permits filed and stuff like that, and everyone's like guessing it's going to be Brazil.
So let us know in the comments if you're pro-Brazil or anti-Brazil.
Well, as a Disney attraction, not the country.
Not the country. We're not trying to start a war with Brazil. Not today. Honestly, I mean, my short list for countries coming to Epcot, I want Brazil. I think, like, food and wine, I love the
Brazil kiosk.
Cheese bread.
Yes, the cheese bread.
Pão de queso. Pão de queso. I don't know how to say it. Cheese bread. Cheese bread's delicious.
Yeah, the cheese bread. Although I'm gonna go ahead and actually disagree with you on that, because on a scorching hot Epcot day, the last thing I want is cheese bread.
Oh no, I always want cheese bread.
No,
I don't even care.
But yeah, that I believe I saw some speculation about that. Now,
yeah, and it's supposed to go between Germany and Italy, which I think.
Are you sure? I thought it was supposed to go between France and Morocco.
Germany and Italy. I think we're losing the train layout.
I mean,
moment of silence. So that's there are actually 7 spaces available, I believe, in the World Showcase that are currently masked by other things. But I don't understand why you would take the train layout, which isn't hurting anybody, and it entertains people on that long span between Germany and Italy.
Howard votes for Liechtenstein.
Yes, I like it. It's good. I mean, my short list is: I'd like to see Greece. I'd like to see Russia. I'd like to see Australia.
I think part of the reason they're not doing like Greece and Australia is because of international issues, I guess.
Maybe, but I mean, culturally, like.
I mean, yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
Birthplace of democracy and the Pier.
Yeah, and thinking about the offerings that could come with that as far as food, like those are some of the places that I would like to see come to the World Showcase, because culture's great, but it's about food. Let's be real.
It eventually all boils down to food,
right.
Like really.
Epcot is restaurants.
Hi, Jeff.
So anyway, those are some that I'd like. What would you think? Is there anybody missing that?
I think America could use like 3 spots.
Well, America could use some sprucing up in the food department.
Yeah, but I mean, I think America could use like I think America should go ahead and like take over the spot to the left and to the right of it, just because. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I was sounding bad. No, I actually hadn't. Howard suggests Spain, Australia, and India.
Spain would be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
India, yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I like curry. Yeah. Into that.
Yeah, actually, all those would be pretty good.
Yeah. I think they're probably going to tend away from the European countries just because of trying to diversify the landscape a little bit.
So I guess Poland's off the market then, because they always have kielbasa and pierogies at the food stand, and I'm always like, yes, the home of my people. ID.
Hungary would be good.
I guess, but I don't know.
It'd be great. They should do it.
Yeah.
Fill up the World Showcase, basically. I mean,
although
I don't even care
that would work,
they pick.
That would actually work really well if you wanted to cross market with the river cruises.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So, but anyway.
Brilliant. Okay. So, was there anything else news-wise that
I'm sure there was, but it was a crazy week at work, and I didn't have time to research.
I know it was
Disney
appointment all week long. Okay.
I know.
So anyway.
Hey, say that with a smile.
No. I'm excited about appointments, but it was just like trying to research for the show tonight.
Oh yeah.
So, anyway, Paradise Pier is our chief.
Nope. Broadcast interrupted.
No.
Can you guys see us?
Somebody comment. Are we there? Let me check the thing.
We're having technical difficulties. Is your phone on Wi-Fi?
It says we're still live. I don't know. Let me check the Wi-Fi thing. It should be. Yeah, we're on Wi-Fi. Okay. It says live. There's still 6 people there, I think.
Okay. We're good. Jeff says we're good.
Okay, thanks, guys. Anyway, Paradise Pier Hotel
yes.
Is the 3rd hotel of Disneyland Resort. And I did do a little bit of live video from the pool there while we were on our trip. So if you swing back through the page to the end of May, you'll see something of that nature. That's actually on my business page.
Yeah. Look for the one with Holly and sunglasses.
Yep. And there's lots of yellow. It's a very yellow area. So, like, because it's all about sunshine. I mean, it's Paradise Pier. It's it's a good pool. This is the third of the Disney on-site resorts at Disneyland. Third of 3. And I say that it's third in every sense of the word. I think
Except
it's important.
pool.
No, it's important to talk about it because it does have some really good things going for it. There are reasons that people do really like Paradise Pier. For starters, the standard rooms at Paradise Pier are slightly larger than the standard rooms at the Grand Californian. Which, when you look at the price point, you're going to be like, oh, well, why wouldn't I stay at Paradise Pier? A few reasons. The pool there is excellent. I can't say enough about the pool area. It's really really nice. It's on the rooftop, so not the very top rooftop, but there's like a rooftop pool deck. And there's a separate pool space from where the water slide's at. Now, relative to Disneyland hotels' water slides, Paradise Pier only has one, and their pool area is a little bit smaller. So I'm going to say your entire pool experience is better at Disneyland Hotel than it is at Paradise Pier. But it's just a really fun space. Like, it's cool to be up on the rooftop. It gets you elevated a little bit. The downside is the view is of the parking lot from the pool deck. So, but when you're up there, you don't really think about it. Like, I even specifically looked out and was like, oh, look, cars as far as the eye can see. But, like, I didn't even care because it was just so much fun to be up there. The water slide's really good. Definitely better than what the Grand has to offer as far as pool fun. There are views of California Adventure from Paradise Pier, and there are views, those views are from standard rooms. So you do have an option to get views of California Adventure, which is really nice because you can't get that at the Grand, even though it's actually inside. I mean, you can, but you can't get the Paradise Pier section view because those are DVC rooms. So unless you're doing a villa, your view of California Adventure is going to be the Grizzly Peak area, which fits more with the theme of the Grand Californian. The Paradise Pier area obviously fits very well with the Paradise Pier Resort. They were, smart in naming that because it fits nicely. There are some nice suite options in Paradise Pier. To me, the rooms are beach themed. To me, that's a little plain. And I know I love beach clubs, so it seems probably kind of silly to say that, but
I'm confused.
But I mean, you're talking bright colors, beach balls, like a lamp with Mickey on a lifeguard stand, like stuff that's not. You don't feel as immersed in the theme, I don't think, as you do at something like the Grand Californian is very enveloping. Like, you feel like you're really in a lodge in the Pacific Northwest. Like, I expect to look out and see redwoods and have to sip cocoa because it's chilly, I don't know, the beach themed resorts, I don't personally get that kind of connection with, so that might differ for you. For you, the beach theme might be the absolute perfect thing. There are some very, very serious issues as far as staying at Paradise Pier, as far as I'm concerned. And Ben experienced these with me, very much so.
I did.
The first is the PCH Grill.
Okay, so we're going here first.
Let's go there first, because I've been dying to talk about it.
Okay, and dying is exactly what the PCH Grill should do. It's terrible.
It was, honestly, this was the worst Disney meal experience I have ever had.
Yes. And
I think it's important to talk about it, obviously.
And I got food poisoning at Disney.
Right, and this was still worse. I think it's important to talk about it, because yes, we sell Disney, but I want you to make a good and informed decision when you choose your resort.
Yeah.
And to me, Paradise Pier is asking you to pay on-site Disney prices and not giving you enough product in return. If you're going to pay to stay on-site at Disneyland, just choose Disneyland Hotel or California Adventure. I feel very strongly about the fact that with Paradise Pier, you're paying a premium for the Disney name, and as we're going to talk about Good Neighbors in a little bit, you're not getting enough out of staying on site to reasonably choose this hotel over the Good Neighbors.
Yeah.
So the downside with PCH Grill, first of all, there were the items on the buffet were much less varied than they were at Goofy's Kitchen and at Storytellers, the other two resort character breakfasts. So we had fewer options to choose from. From those options, the Mickey waffles that were out, now this is a one day, one time, and everybody can make a mistake, but the Mickey waffles were burnt, the eggs were pure rubber, and the chilaquiles were soggy. So that's 3 out of, like, they had maybe 12 offerings. A quarter of them were not prepared well. On a buffet, to me, that's unacceptable. Especially when, for the 2 of us to eat breakfast there, it was $80.
Yeah, I am very forgiving of breakfast buffets because I love breakfast food.
And I'm very forgiving of Disney.
Yeah.
So.
And the meal was so just blah that I just...
And no flavor. Nothing had flavor.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I tried one of their lighter options. I think it was, egg whites with, spinach and stuff like that. And, there's things you can do to dress that up. They did not. It was like eating a rice cake.
And we're talking, this is California in late May. I've been to California in March and April and had a festival of fresh fruits and vegetables available, and just unbelievably fresh and fantastic food. We're talking 2 months later in the growing season, and this was what was available to us. I was very, very underwhelmed by the food.
Yeah.
Second, the procedural aspect of the character meet and greets. The idea is when you walk in, you're supposed to get a photo with Mickey at the little Surf's Up area they have set up for him, and that's with a PhotoPass photographer. When we came in, our hostess mentioned, or I should say mumbled, that, Mickey's busy right now, so you'll see him later. Okay, so we expect Mickey's going to come around to our table because we don't really know the procedure because, we're the guests.
Yeah.
So she seats us. No problem. Our waitress comes over. She's very nice. She immediately goes on break. But she did come out and tell us, and that's honestly the first time I've ever had any waitress come out and tell us that she was going on break and introduce who her replacement would be. That I got to give them props for that. That was really good. We proceeded to get our breakfast, and we saw Stitch and Daisy.
Daisy, yeah.
We had been there about 23 minutes, and our server brought the check. We had seen 2 of the 4 characters. We'd been there 23-ish minutes. I was a little irritated. I mentioned to her, I said, hey, thanks for the check, but we've only seen 50% of the characters. I mean, I think there are 4 at the meal. We've only been here 20-some minutes. I really haven't had a chance to see. I mean, maybe there are 5 or 6. I mean, we were at Plaza Inn for breakfast the other day, and there were 12 characters.
And we got to see all of them.
We saw every single one, yeah.
In short order.
So she, instead of saying, hang on, well, let me make sure we get that corrected, she was like, oh, well, okay, you can, you don't have to rush out. Darn right we don't. I'm paying $80 for breakfast. I don't expect a 20-minute experience with substandard food and 50% of the character meet and greet.
Yeah.
We did eventually track down Minnie, and Mickey still hadn't come to our table. From where we were sitting, we really couldn't see the area where, he was at. So we asked her again, we said, okay, well, we saw Minnie, we still haven't seen Mickey. And she's like, well, you have to go up and meet him. Could you have told us that 5 minutes ago when we said we still hadn't met Mickey? It was just, it was very frustrating.
This is in a microcosm, the one major problem we've had at Disneyland, which is there is not as good crowd control and direction there.
Right. They expect you to be more self-sufficient. And we're from Disney World, man. We need you to hold our hand.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on. So, we did eventually go up and meet Mickey. And we had PhotoPass service, so I asked for the PhotoPass code so that we could download the photo, because Disneyland does not have magic bands. So the photographer told me, just have a seat, and when the person comes around, they'll tell you. And I said, okay, well, we actually already ate breakfast because we got all messed up. And she said, okay, well, we'll send him out, basically, something along that line. So, so he comes out, and I asked him about the PhotoPass code, and he's like, well, you just have to go and get it downloaded at guest services. Like, wait, I had the photo taken here. You have some sort of photo printing application in the back. I have PhotoPass. I don't want to buy a picture. I want the free picture that's included in my downloads. Can't you give me the code? I did the same thing at Goofy's Kitchen the day before and got the code, no problem. And he's like, no, you have to go to the location. I was like, can't you get me the code? I'll be back. 15 more minutes. Never comes back.
Now it's a matter of honor.
Now we're irritated. now we're like, okay, this is just going
Even
on.
I was getting irritated at that point. And normally I don't care.
So we flagged down the photographer, and he also tells me, he's like, you have to go to the photo center in the park. Like, what if I wasn't going to the park that day? You know, what if we just came in for a character meal? You know, and to say you can't do it, I know full well you can do it. So don't tell me no, that you can't. It's incorrect. And, you know, and then at this point, he gives us a fast pass for our wait. I'm like, it's nice, but no. I ask you for something that you're fully able to give.
Right.
Don't give me something to substitute.
Yeah.
I was so over the whole experience.
The fast pass definitely felt like a pacifier to shut us up rather than actually solving the problem.
Right. And he was in a position to be able to solve the problem.
Right.
So anyway, that was our just errors upon errors at PCH Grill. And once again, like I say, every time we talk about dining, it is, you know, it's a microcosm. It's one day at one specific time with one specific set of people and one specific set of circumstances. But I'm not going to rush back.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to be my go-to, let's go character meal.
Let's just be honest. PCH Grill is dead to us. Like,
probably.
Okay.
Now, here's the only problem, because it's the only place at Disneyland right now that you can meet Stitch. So...
Only there were another park that was closer.
Where we could see Stitch everywhere.
Where we could have Stitch everywhere. If only.
But
Disney, maybe you should do a second park. Maybe bigger.
If Stitch is a must-see meet and greet for you, it might be worth giving it a shot. I would definitely book my reservation there as early as possible.
Yes,
because
that is the other thing. We did go later than normal. We got there at like 10:30,
and it was really, really crowded. And it was a holiday weekend. So, there, like I said, there are always caveats, there are always reasons that things aren't the way they're supposed to be, but it was just a very frustrating experience.
Yes, we did get the Piclia. We had to go to the photo location in Disneyland, and they had to literally scroll through all of the photos to all the they asked us
approximate time that it was taken.
Yes, until they found us.
I mean,
and then they gave us the code, and we've got it, and so we did eventually get it.
So we do have our Mickey picture.
Our probably very angry Mickey picture. I haven't
honestly,
seen it yet.
I don't look very happy. You look fine. You're like, yeah, we saw Mickey, and I'm like, we had to find Mickey.
Just letting it all wash over me. It's okay, man. We're in California, man. Okay.
So we left there.
Continue. Yes, everyone. This is going to be a bit of a diatribe. So popcorn. I recommend it.
So we left the PCH Grill, and our intention was we were actually going to go through the Grand Californian into California Adventure, swing by Cozy Cone and grab an ice cream because by this time it was like 11 o'clock, and head over to Disneyland and finish out. This was our very last day. So this is our last table service meal on our last of 11 days. I was like, yeah. So we go out and we cross the street, only to be met by a security guard at Grand Californian, who tells us that we need to show our room keys to enter. Of course, we're staying at Disneyland Hotel at this point. He refuses to let us into the Grand Californian lobby.
So, I would just like to say at this point that I told you so. Because they had warned us about this.
We kind of knew about it. I mean,
a little bit at the beginning of our trip.
But the way it was explained to us, it was that it was first thing in the morning.
See, I don't know. I thought it was going to be all day.
The way I understood it was first thing in the morning. They were holding only Grand Californian guests could go in through the back entrance to California Adventure. So I thought that by this point it is like 11 o'clock. I'm like, well, obviously it doesn't matter what entrance we go in at this point because there's no advantage to using the back entrance. It just happens to be more convenient than walking back to Disneyland Hotel and then walking around to get through downtown Disney. Apparently not the case. Now,
to be fair, you can still get access to downtown Disney from Paradise Pier Hotel without too much difficulty. You have to walk through the parking lot, but it's there.
Right. Well, and you have to walk to Disneyland Hotel to get there. Like, you can't... The way that California...
No, it cut up that access road. You didn't have to walk, through the Disneyland Hotel.
No, we didn't have to go through it, but we had to walk by our building to get back to
they're right next to each other. We had, we practically walked by it on the way to California Adventure.
Well, No, I mean, not really.
Mm.
So the road that goes between Paradise Pier and Grand Californian goes underneath downtown Disney, and there's a bridge, but it doesn't feel like a bridge. It just feels like it's one continuous space. So you can't walk down the street from there. You have to go back into the parking lot to get you have to walk around to get to downtown Disney that way instead of walking through the Grand Californian. So it just kind of leads us to if you're staying at Paradise Pier, you used to be able to go through Grand Californian because that back entrance to DCA was your park entrance too. And that's been cut off. So with that amenity gone, the reasons to stay at Paradise Pier there aren't any.
Leah's ruling in your favor about the 11 o'clock we should be able to go in.
Thank
so I'm terribly shocked by that.
Leah's on my side.
I know.
So anyway, that's just an amenity issue for Paradise Pier now. There are probably sometimes you can do it, but 11 o'clock is no.
Apparently.
And, I mean, it is still, at the end of the day, you can still leave from, say, World of Color and cut through Grand California and cross the street and you're back home. So that is nicer than having to walk out to the front of the park, walk through the bus loop, and cross back to the Good Neighbors. But honestly, for the price difference, I wouldn't choose Paradise Pier over a Good Neighbor anymore. So, what's Amber say?
Amber says that we seem very knowledgeable, and she wants to book with us. Thanks, Amber.
Thanks, Amber.
Hi, Lisa. Hi, Christine.
Hi, guys.
So
anyway, that's Paradise Pier in a nutshell. Oh, also, their elevators are very confusing.
You didn't have your glasses on.
I didn't, but the elevator, it's not like you just push the button and it goes places.
I'm really surprised.
You have to tell it where it's at.
I'm really surprised you didn't text me asking for help.
I'm stuck. I can't get back.
So when we vacation, sometimes we do things separately. Holly went over to the Paradise Pier Hotel pool. I stayed in the room and napped.
Yeah.
I stand by my decision.
And actually, the only reason that I was, part of the reason I was glad we were booked at Grand Californian was because they had a pool closure, which gave me the option to check out the Paradise Pier pool because I heard it was great, so I wanted to try it. And that actually went very smoothly. They had a little golf cart that would drive you around to the back, so you didn't have to walk across the street. I was like, I can walk
That's
there.
what happens when you stay at Grand California.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think there was a golf cart from Paradise Pier to drive you around? No.
Howard is saying that they're going to stay at Howard Johnson's if they go.
You should actually. It's one of the better Good Neighbors. So.
Speaking of which,
Good Neighbors.
Yes. We have a couple of videos on Holly's feed that they show us wandering out of Disneyland and going and showing you the streets where a lot of the Good Neighbor hotels are. Not all of them, because apparently there are a ton.
There are like 40 Good Neighbors, and they do change. So we're going to talk about some today that may or may not still be operational when you take a trip to Disneyland.
Yeah, they have to be accredited by Disney, right, basically.
And Disney will cut them off in a minute if they fail an inspection. So
apparently when we go with Howard and Leah in October, Howard and I are going to be napping at the same time while you and Leah go to the pool. That's okay. What I'm getting from this conversation.
Okay. Anyway, there are a selection of Good Neighbor hotels that are literally directly across from the bus entrance to Disneyland Park. We didn't clock it. We should have checked that out.
Well, we can check the time on the video feed if we really want to.
Oh, yeah, I guess we could. But I think because you don't have to walk through downtown Disney to get to the concourse, I think that the Good Neighbor hotels are actually closer than both Disneyland Hotel and Paradise Pier. Depending on, you have to stay on the ones that are literally directly across the street, which is the Best Western and the Fairfield Inn. Is it a Fairfield Inn?
I think it was a Fairfield Inn.
Yeah. So those are the two that are going to get you the closer access than what you can get booking at Disney.
It was still a pretty fair walk. Not
it's still a good walk because
it
is. It's literally think about a bus loop at Magic Kingdom. There's a bus loop plus a little bit between you and your hotel.
Yeah.
But we're talking. What if you're at Magic Kingdom and you're parked at the last bus on the last bus loop? It would be closer for you to walk from the front door of your hotel at Disneyland to the front of Disneyland Park than it is to walk from the bus at Magic Kingdom to the front of Magic Kingdom Park.
I'll give you that.
So,
I'll definitely give you that.
If you're talking Florida to California, you can't beat the walking access in California.
That's true.
Now, if you are traveling with disabilities and you have accessibility needs, then you may want to rethink, because you're probably going to be a little bit better off as far as the accommodations that are made at Walt Disney World than you are at Disneyland, as far as just logistically having an easy time. Disneyland makes the accommodations that are necessary, but being an older structure and, you know, it's a more pedestrian community, there is shuttle service even from the closed hotels, but I don't know, I think if I were in that situation, I think I would feel more comfortable, even though Disney World is huge, I think I would feel more comfortable there, like, having the access that I needed, than at Disneyland.
And we've seen firsthand the access that you get at Disney World. And
Disney World is fantastic.
They really do. We haven't had that experience at Disneyland yet.
Right. I'm thinking about making Dad ride in a wheelchair just to
break his
check
foot.
It out. Dad, you're lucky he's on a cruise ship.
I'm lucky he doesn't know how to use Facebook.
He does. He watches sometimes. You're going to get in trouble.
Anyway.
Dad's going to be mad.
Yeah, well, he's always mad about something. It might as well be something worthwhile.
And Good Neighbor versus on-site, I do think there's a value in staying at the Disneyland Hotel, staying at the Grand Californian, just because they really do bring the atmosphere. Like, you walk through downtown Disney to get to them, it feels completely in a bubble. Like, a lot of people talk about Disney World being like a bubble. To me, Disneyland is 10 times more bubblier than Walt Disney World. No?
Just gonna let that one pass.
Okay. And just because you literally don't leave Disney theming. Like, there's not even any, like, theming. Oh, there's a road with trees on the way to, you know, from my All-Star Sports Resort to Epcot, you know. You don't see anything besides complete immersion in Disney, which I think is really fun. I like that aspect of it. So, personally, I would stay on. I mean, obviously, we've never stayed at a Good Neighbor, so we see enough value on site to continue to stay on site.
Some of that is that we own a DVC,
right.
So we can.
So as long as we have points to use, we're in good shape, and we can stay at Grand California.
Yeah. I'm gonna give props to Grand Californian over Disneyland Hotel.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
But on to the Good Neighbors.
Yeah. On to the Good Neighbors. The Howard Johnson's is one of the northernmost Good Neighbors. It's not one that I would try to walk from. However, there is shuttle service, and shuttle service to and from the resorts does carry a fee. So it's not like Disney World where you have the free transportation, but it's something like $30 for a family pass for the week. I mean, it's not expensive. It's just a little, you know, hey, thanks for driving us around kind of fare. There are two resort systems, or two bus systems that run. There's the Anaheim Resort Transit and another one. But it is two different bus services, so it's important to find out which one of those services you're on and make sure that you're buying the correct ticket. It's not listed there. I already tried to cheat. Okay. Yeah, but Anaheim Resort Transit, or ART, is the one that's most frequently used. There is another service, I think it's called Hotel Concierge or something of that nature. The nice thing about the Good Neighbors is there's a very wide range of different resorts that you can choose from.
Yep.
So there are value resorts, which, just like Disney World, they're going to be a little bit farther away. I'm talking like maybe 4 or 5 blocks. 4 or 5 blocks. It's far. No. But when you're in a very pedestrian park, it feels far. We actually walked the whole back of California Adventure. We went out through the bus loop, walked south on Harbor Boulevard, and then turned right onto Catella Avenue. We walked the entire backside of California Adventure, which is right across from the Anaheim Convention Center. And it felt like forever.
And it was a long walk. We were going to get pins, so that's why we walked.
Right. But we also wanted to see the neighborhood a little bit and go for pins. But we went out that side to see the neighborhood.
But yes, it was, despite being a long walk, it was actually a fairly nice walk. We did get some sunburn because we were dumb. Bring sunblock. It's your friend. But the Catella turns into a nice tree-lined avenue.
Catella is very pretty. It's a very nice street.
Harbor is definitely the surface of the sun bleaching all life from you. So, make sure you bring sunblock.
Yeah. Also across the street on Harbor Boulevard, and I think this is actually more important than the resorts that are over there, there are normal, regular restaurants. I mean, there's an IHOP a
Denny's.
Cold Stone Creamery, a Denny's, a McDonald's.
Couple of pizza places.
Lots of pizza places nearby. And then on Catella, on the intersection, actually on the other intersection that would run up the west side of Disneyland, that's the one actually, the road that runs in front of Paradise Pier. There's a restaurant called Tiffy's. It's a family restaurant. It's one of those that looks a little sketchy and people love it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, if it looks sketchy, it probably has like the best food.
Right. It gets low marks a lot for not having the best cleanliness. Like, it's one of those places where the tables are kind of sticky because they've wiped them off so much.
Bob's Big Boy.
Right. Exactly. But the food is supposed to be pretty decent at Tiffy's. So that's another good place if you're looking for a non-chain and you want to go sit down somewhere that's not inside the parks and maybe save a little money, see a little bit more of Anaheim. That's a nice place to stop.
And that's another good point is that a lot of these places, they link up to small shopping centers and drugstores and things like that. It is very easy to walk out of Disneyland, walk around these good neighbor areas and find just normal things.
Random things that you need.
Yeah, because when you're in Disney World, you're in the bubble and you're at the mercy of what the hotel store has.
And it's very hard to get out of the bubble. In Disneyland,
Yes.
It's very easy.
Yes.
You can be very, very much immersed, and then you can be like, oh, crap, I gotta run to CVS. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So, but
and
yeah.
Very Uber-friendly area.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very, very easy to find a car after we got sunburned walking to the pin store.
Yes.
It was very easy to get back.
Yes, we walked down there. It was very, very warm, and then we called the car to take us back because,
Yeah, Catella is like the surface of the sun after a couple blocks.
Yeah. But again, it's really nice. The pin store also had a Taco Bell and the Burger King there and stuff like that. So there are more dining options, and we took the long way around. You can exit on the back side of the park and get to it a little faster. So,
right.
Now there were 3 good neighbor hotels you were talking about that you thought were really
There are a
neat.
couple that I really like, and I forget which one. One of them actually Disney bought recently, and
Demolished it?
They demolished it. I was really excited. They were buying it, and I thought they were gonna fix it up and make it another Disney hotel because it was right across the street.
That's awesome.
And
I love that.
They tore it down and made it a parking lot.
Oh, people seem to really like this hotel. Let's buy it. Okay, what are you gonna do with it?
Kill it.
We're gonna bulldoze it.
Yeah. So that was really sad. I think it was the Camelot, which was the one that looked like a little castle.
No, we saw the one that looked like a castle.
Maybe they hadn't demolished it yet.
No, there was
Carousel. Maybe it was the Carousel.
There was a big empty lot between 2 of the hotels that we think
it might have been the Carousel.
Yeah,
because there was the 3
I want to
Cs.
stay at the Camelot.
Yeah, there were the 3C hotels that I liked, and it was the Carousel, the Camelot, and the Candy Cane. And the one of them, and I think it probably was the Carousel Inn, is no longer
Single tier.
sad. Now the Howard Johnson's is, like I said, a little bit farther away, but smashing water park. I mean, it's a pool, but it's a water parky type of pool area. So lots of splash and play and slides and things like that. So I actually had a guest who stayed there in April. Yeah, this past April. They loved it. They thought it was great. So definitely good recommendations for that one.
Do they have kids?
Yes.
So kids plus water park equals
kids plus
great
water
stay.
parks equals happy people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was one. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on it.
And these all vary in style too. So you've got the kind of condo looking ones, you've got the motor inn looking ones, and then you've got the high rise hotel looking ones.
And some of these have fantastic suites, 2-floor penthouse style suites.
Yeah, didn't you say one of them sleeps 8?
Yeah, 2. Actually, there are at least 2 that sleep 8 in a room. So if you have a larger party and you don't want to split up, there are a lot of really good options. Those would be at the Anaheim Residence in Main Gate and the Staybridge Suites. Those sleep up to 8 people in a room.
Yeah.
And most of the others sleep up to 6.
Yeah.
So you really do have a lot of flexibility when you're talking good neighbor hotels, a little bit more so than you have with Disneyland hotels' limited suite selection.
Yeah. And when we say they're accredited by Disney, Disney comes out and inspects these places, right?
Right.
And, the guy with the mouse ear hat comes with the clipboard and checks off, all that stuff. Right. So, I mean, it's not like you're abandoning Disney level of quality and, going to some sketchy Orlando hotel.
Yeah.
Like the Palms. But, no, just kidding. Is that actually one down there in the downtown Disney area?
No, I don't think it's in down.
Okay.
I think it's down on 535.
Anyway, but there's still some quality control going on,
Right.
which is why you pay for a Disney vacation, is for that level of quality
Right.
control. Except apparently at the PCH Grill.
Now, you do have a couple of other things to consider, and these vary by hotel, but there are resort fees and there are parking fees at some of the off-site Good Neighbor resorts. So that's definitely something when we're talking like Good Neighbor versus staying on site at Disneyland that we need to discuss whether or not those items are going to affect you. If you're staying on site at Disneyland, there's a $20 a day parking fee at Grand Californian and at Disneyland Hotel and at Paradise Pier. I mean, they all have $20 a day. But usually coming from the East Coast, we're probably not driving. So most people that are going, they're going to take either the Disneyland Express or Super Shuttle to get to their destination. And just a quick word on that, Disneyland Express is not complimentary. So kids are complimentary with a paying adult. However, it is not a free shuttle service like Magical Express is in Orlando. There is no luggage pickup service. You have to retrieve your own bags, get out to the curb, get the bus, and get to where you're going. We have tried both ways. Super Shuttle is markedly faster than
Yes.
Disneyland Express, especially if you're going to a Good Neighbor hotel, because Disneyland Express, obviously, is going to treat their hotel guests the best. They are both the first drop-off and the last pickup on the way out of town. So if you're staying on-site at Disneyland, you're going to have fewer, okay, let's stop and let 3 guests off. Okay, let's stop and let 2 more guests off.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're going, all the way around the world to get back to where we're supposed to be. So, I recommend Super Shuttle. What did you think about the Super Shuttle experience versus the?
Oh, I thought
DL bus?
the Super Shuttle was great. I mean, our return Super Shuttle was slightly sketchier than
Return
our.
Super Shuttle was like, hold on,
Yeah,
for dear life.
that guy.
But we got back to the airport in like 40 minutes.
Yeah, that guy was not messing around.
Yeah, it's a 50-minute ride.
It was a slightly dumpier Super Shuttle, but it was the Disneyland Express experience I had, which was only once.
Right.
It
was bad.
It was bad. Like, the bus kept overheating, and the guy had to pull over, but he didn't tell us anything.
Right. There's no magical movie.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds like we're a bunch of spoiled kids, but in a way we are.
Right.
So, but the I didn't find it worthwhile, and the Super Shuttle was cheaper.
Yes, if you're traveling with a party of adults, Super Shuttle is less expensive than Disneyland Express. Also, Super Shuttle runs on your schedule, so when you book your shuttle, you can tell them what time your flight is arriving, and once you check in on the app, and then you check in at the kiosk, and within 30 minutes, our Super Shuttle we were at gate 6.
Yes.
For pickup. So the first time when we rode Disneyland Express, we came in via Southwest, and we were at Terminal 1 for pickup. So that meant that we got picked up at Terminal 1, and we were very fortunate to catch our bus. We only waited 3 or 4 minutes, because if we had missed that bus, we would have waited an hour. So Disneyland Express is once per hour. It took 45 minutes for that bus to make it out of the LAX terminals. So if you've never been to LAX, it's like a horseshoe, and it's like an insane horseshoe. There's people doing this, So it's reasonable that it takes a while, but it doesn't need to take all day. Because Disneyland Express doesn't accept advanced reservations, and you don't provide them with your airline info, it literally has to stop at every terminal. So that means it has to pull over to the curb, actually stop, wait to see if anybody gets on before it can move. So it takes about 45 to 50 minutes to get out of the terminal. Now, we flew in on Alaska. We had to wait 30 minutes for the shuttle to get to us, because it also picks people up at terminals 2, 4, and 5, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't have to stop at Terminal 1. It didn't have to stop at Terminal 3 because it knew who was getting on.
Also, the Super Shuttle app gives you real-time location data on your shuttle, so you can see where it is.
It tells you what number you're going to get on.
In a way, it's actually kind of terrible, because it's like watching watch pot never boils, or watch Super Shuttle never arrives.
It's like watching for your Panera order to be delivered. Tracking.
Yeah, I used Order Up today for lunch, and they track it. So
yeah.
But
30 minutes to get to us, and then we were the last pickup. So it actually took 15 minutes less time in the terminal.
We were not the last pickup.
We weren't? There was one more?
There was one more.
Okay, we were still out of there in 35 minutes, though.
Yeah.
It was much faster getting out of the LAX terminal than it had been on the Disneyland Express. And then our actual ride on Disneyland Express, it took us an hour to get to our stop. And on Super Shuttle, we were there 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So about an hour and 15 minutes from the time we hit the curb versus the other way. It was almost 2 hours until we arrived. So
if you're staying in a good neighbor, Super Shuttle is your friend.
Right. Even if you're staying on site Disneyland, I would definitely Super Shuttle, or even Uber. I mean, depending on how much luggage you have.
Yep.
So anyway, we're supposed to be talking about good neighbor hotels.
I know, we kind of went off the rails there, hence my gentle nudge to get back.
Right.
So I'm looking at the cheat sheet here, and it looks like there are a couple of different classes.
There are value, moderate, superior, and suite. So you have, that gives you just a little bit of guidance as far as what kind of room you're going to get. Of course, the values, like I said, farther away, fewer amenities. Most of the values, in fact, no, there are only 2 values, or economies as they're called. They do not have, there is complimentary breakfast at the Motel 6, or no, sorry, at the Quality Inn. There is not at the Motel 6. A number of these resorts are also pet friendly, which I thought it's kind of I mean, obviously from the East Coast, we're probably not subjecting our pets to 6-hour plane rides, but if you're
subjecting ourselves to 6-hour plane rides with our pets.
You know, one way or the other. So let me think here. Quality Inn does not have complimentary parking. However, Motel 6 does. So your trade-off at your economy, you're either getting complimentary parking or continental breakfast. The moderates, about 70% have complimentary parking. Less than half have some sort of breakfast option. The only one that has a regular breakfast is the Hampton Inn. Let's see, 31. Where is it? That's near the convention center. Yeah. So that's actually about a block and a half away from Disneyland, from the concourse entrance. So honestly, if you're gonna stay good neighbor, I would really seriously consider doing the superior category, just because it's gonna get you a little bit closer. You know, they're gonna be mostly the ones that are gonna be closer to the park. They're gonna give you a little bit better amenities. You're gonna have things like fitness centers, microwaves, refrigerators, that kind of stuff. So. Yeah. Actually, everybody has a refrigerator. Because I think that's kind of standard in hotels anymore for medications and things like that. Most have health clubs. Most have whirlpools and spas. Every one of them has a pool. So there's not a good neighbor you can stay at that you don't have a pool, except for nope, absolutely no exceptions. Yeah. In the ones actually right across the street from Disneyland are in the moderate class. But I think there's good reason to upgrade to the superior. I mean, you are talking, you're talking Best Western, you're talking Hampton, Hilton, Holiday Inn. Upgrading to the superior class is going to get you options. I guess not, actually no sense talking about the Annabella because it's going to be gone. I was really sad to hear that. I heard that a couple weeks ago. The Hotel Annabella, which was kind of my go-to recommendation for off-site, is being demolished, I think, for something new. I don't know. Not by Disney, though. Yeah.
Well, and like you said, staying at a good neighbor also allows you to customize your stay a lot more because you can pick the amenities that are important to you, whereas if you stay on Disney property, you get the amenities that they have there. Now, there are a lot, but... But
complimentary breakfast is not among them.
It is not among them.
Almost every suite, all except for 2 suites, which would be the Doubletree and the Anaheim Portofino Inn and Suites, that don't have breakfast. All of the others have complimentary hot breakfast. So, I mean, when you're taking a family of 4 and you can get free breakfast. Like I said, for the 2 of us, we paid $80, and granted it was a character breakfast, but we paid $80 for breakfast. It's, food in California is on the expensive side, so it's definitely something to consider. Maybe cut back on your hotel costs, plus get your breakfast included. It's a pretty nice option if you're looking to economize on your trip to California. Now, if you think that Disneyland's going to be a one and done for you, I really encourage you to try to stay on site, because when you look at the costs of your trip as a whole, the difference in the amount per night is often a really small portion of that equation. Yeah. And a lot of the suites, you're pushing yourself out farther and farther. So you lose, you could technically walk to almost any of these resorts, but let's be real. At the end of the day, walking through the park, you're not going to want to walk 6 blocks to your resort.
Right, and when in the morning you're going to need a nap as soon as you finish your walk to the park. Now, that may sound good to some people, naps. But, other people want to get the day going.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So to me, it's definitely worth it to stay on site. But if you're talking family of 4, family of 6, especially if you're taking 8 people and you can accommodate everybody in one room rather than splitting up into 2 rooms, I mean, you really should look at the suite options because they might make your trip much more feasible, much more financially accessible. They might enable you to do other things on your trip, like Disneyland. One of the coolest things about Disneyland is they actually have a ticket called the Southern California City Pass ticket that gives you a 3-day Disneyland park hopper. Plus, it gives you 1 admission to Legoland and 1 admission to SeaWorld. Mm. And those are, we're talking road trip kind of situation here. But because Legoland is between Carlsbad and San Diego, I think. Don't quote me on that. It's somewhere it's coastal and it's like an hour and a half drive. So, and then of course SeaWorld San Diego is like an hour and 45 to 2 hours. So it's definitely a hike, and it's definitely something you're going to want to be well rested and have the entire day at your disposal to use them. But it's a really cool way to see to see Disneyland, but also, like, if this is your only trip to California, to not just be like, well, I went to Disneyland, and I saw LAX, and that was it. So it's kind of a cool option. And actually, this takes a little bit of effort for us to quote because we have to call Disney to get the quotes. They don't let us price this online, but you can actually do what they call an open hinge trip where you can fly into LAX, take Disneyland Express to Disneyland. You can get a car rental included with your Southern California City Pass, and then you can actually stay 2 days in San Diego at the Coronado del something Coronado something. It's a very famous hotel.
Okay. Obviously not that famous. It's not East Coast famous.
It's not famous enough that I can remember the name, but someone will know it. I think probably the
Dear Internet.
Yeah, it's like Coronado El Dorado or something in San Diego, and it's supposed to be like a haunted hotel, and it's right on the ocean. And
why did we not do that? Haunted hotel right on the ocean?
Because it's haunted.
It's not really haunted.
Okay, Ben's gonna internet research.
I'm gonna try that real quick
while we're talking here. But you can. Disneyland is very flexible in the way that they do their accommodations. They let you, like I said, do this open hinge kind of trip. They actually even do excursions that you can add on to your Disneyland vacation. So you could add on. I forget what all of them are because they do change periodically. Like you used to be able to add on Universal Studios and you can't anymore.
Hotel del Coronado.
Hotel del Coronado, that's what it is. Like Coronado something or other. Coronado Springs. Wait. No, wrong place. But what was I saying?
I have no idea.
Excursions.
I was looking something up. Excursions.
So you can actually add on like a day at Knott's Berry Farm, and Disney will give you transportation, take you to Knott's Berry Farm, and bring you back. Now, adding that on is, I would say, it's mega expensive. I would personally, I would never do it because there's an Alamo car rental right at Downtown Disney, and you can rent an Alamo car. You can actually add it onto your reservation and get you a Knott's Berry Farm ticket from the internet, and you can go to Knott's Berry Farm. So there are a lot of different options. Like just because you're in Anaheim doesn't mean that you're completely removed from all things LA and have no options for other things to do. So just things to keep in mind if you're thinking Disneyland. It doesn't necessarily have to be a parks vacation because Disneyland understands that it only has 2 parks. And for some people, they're not going to want to do, 3 days at one park and 2 days at another. For me, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. Absolutely. I'll do 5 days at one park and 4 days at another. It's just because I can spend that much time there. But, most people who go to California want to see California and not just California Adventure. So Disneyland does offer a lot of ways to make that happen. There was something else on that vein that I wanted to mention while we're still on Disneyland.
I don't know.
I forget what it was now. Look at that. Talked myself into a corner.
Jeff's talking about how dining reservations open July 6th for Fantasmic dining packages. So
right, yesterday they opened up. And they were like gone immediately for the first day. So Disneyland, while we're talking dining reservations, they are only 60-day in advance reservations at Disneyland. Tours are only 30 days in advance. So when you're planning your Disneyland vacation, it can be very frustrating for those of us who are regular Walt Disney World goers, because we're like, it's 180 days, I want food, you know. And Disneyland does not give us that opportunity quite as early. And they do that because the locals don't want it. They have a tremendous number of Southern California annual pass holders, and they don't want to have to plan their trip 6 months in advance. I mean, you can imagine, if you think about those of us around here, like, you wouldn't want to plan your trip to Hershey Park 6 months in advance and have to make a dining reservation to eat at your local park. Like, that would just seem bizarre to us. So the 60-day window does give some flexibility. And honestly, most of the restaurants, unless you're going over a holiday weekend, a time when it's going to be crowded, most restaurants, you can walk up and get same-day service. You can reserve the night before. If you want something like Blue Bayou, you have to reserve a little bit ahead of time. Ariel's Grotto, Character Meal, you need to reserve ahead of time. I would reserve the Plaza if you're thinking about having breakfast there. I would reserve that early. But really, otherwise, it's pretty much a wide open ball game. So I still don't remember what the other thing was.
Well, we.
I wish I could, because it had something to do with a thing about Disneyland, and this is probably the last time we're talking Disneyland for a while. So, I don't know. I totally lost it.
It's okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. You want to go on to the fun fact?
Yeah, I guess so. I think it was about excursions. That's where I was thinking about it. I had a family who did do the Southern California City Pass, and they really had a good time. Seemed to very much enjoy going to Legoland and going down to SeaWorld. I remember what it was. I knew we could get back. Just had to keep rambling a little bit. One other accommodation at Disneyland, and I know we're talking, Good Neighbors in Paradise Pier today, but we didn't really have a chance to discuss it on our Disneyland Hotel podcast. There are themed suites at the Disneyland Hotel. If you are looking for something extra magical, if you're talking honeymoon, if you're doing maybe Sweet 16, or I'm going to say it wrong, quinceañera?
Anyway.
15th birthday. Okay.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I just don't...
if you are, celebrating something really monumental, the suites that are available are heavily themed. I believe there are four different types. There's a Fantasyland suite that sleeps 3, and of course it's themed for Fantasyland. There's a Frontier suite, which is themed like Frontierland. An Adventureland suite, which is obviously has a lot of Pirates Jungle type of themes, and then there's the Mickey Mouse Penthouse. These suites are I can't even describe them to you. They are just amazing. If you've ever seen the pictures of the way that the Cinderella Castle suite is done, it's not in the castle, obviously, but it's that level of detail. Which actually brings us to our fun fact.
Oh, there we go.
Because our fun fact tonight is about the Dream Suite. So the suites that are replicated in Disneyland Hotel are actually very similar to the rooms that are inside of the Dream Suite. The Dream Suite is located above the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction, and you can actually, we talked about on an earlier episode that you need to look up when you're in Disneyland, especially in New Orleans Square, because you can see people at Club 33 eating out on the patio sometimes. Well, you can also see people who might be touring or staying in the Dream Suite. So if you're in the Dream Suite taking a tour, you can look across and see the people eating at Club 33, which is kind of a kick.
Wait a minute. Didn't they get rid of the Dream Suite?
No, they didn't get rid of it, but that's where the 21 Royal dinner is being held.
Okay.
So we had talked about this on an earlier episode too. There's actually a dinner called 21 Royal that's being hosted in the Dream Suite. And for a mere $15,000, you and 12 of your friends can enjoy dinner inside the Dream Suite. I don't know what they're thinking. Anyway, no one is booking it. Apparently it's like, no one cares. No one's eating there.
Well,
yet still...
probably because if you can afford to eat there, you just join Club 33. You just join Club 33 and go eat with Tom Hanks or whatever.
Right, exactly. But the Dream Suite is off limits to tours right now because of the 21 Royal dinner. And it had been that the Dream Suite was the premier backstage item on the Walk in Walt's Footsteps tour. I forgot to ask when we were there. I don't know what they've replaced it with, but at any rate, the Dream Suite was actually a suite that Walt Disney was building for his family because his apartment over Main Street is only about 500 square feet. And it's very small. They had to split our group in half to go up there. And he really couldn't accommodate his entire family, and he wanted to be able to. So the Dream Suite was his idea. It was built, above New Orleans Square, and it had an Adventureland bedroom connected to a Fantasyland bathroom, a Frontierland bedroom that had its own Frontier-themed bathroom. There's an interior courtyard, and there's a Fantasyland themed, actually really more of a Sleeping Beauty castle themed, Cinderella themed. It's princessy.
Castle themed
Living space. And then the Frontierland bedroom has its own balcony. So you could actually sit on the balcony in the Frontierland room and watch the Fantasmic fireworks show, which would be an amazing place to watch from. I don't know why that's not. They should dump the 21 Royal thing and sell tickets to sit on the balcony for Fantasmic.
That I would pay for.
Yeah, dear Disneyland. But each one of the suites has a kiss goodnight. So when you're in that room, there's of course regular light switches, and one of the switches that you flip makes something magical happen in the room. So in the Adventureland room, it's themed. It's very study theme. Like if you would picture like an old smoking room kind of ambiance in there. There's a picture on the wall of a lagoon, and it looks very unmagical really, until you flip the kiss goodnight switch, and then you hear mermaids giggling in the background, and all of a sudden they appear on the painting, and they move on the painting, right?
I don't remember if they move or not, but they appear on the painting,
yeah.
So
I kind of think they
that's
move
still
on the painting.
pretty cool,
right? And I mean, it's projection technology. Disney uses it everywhere, but it's just that kind of little detail that just really makes the room come alive. Inside the Fantasyland bathroom, the Kiss Goodnight was stars that
appearing
appear
over the
in
bathtub.
the mosaic, in the full-on blue mosaic tub. Like it's just gorgeous, and it's one of those places where you're like, wow, I could sit in here and relax. Like this looks fantastic. And then the Frontierland is actually my favorite.
Oh yeah,
yeah. When you walk in, there's a train on the shelf in a glass case. And you can see along the shelf runs around the entire room, and there are different artifacts that would look like they're from Frontierland. Old saloons and horses and things like that. Well, the Kiss Goodnight there, the train comes alive. It comes out of its glass box that actually doesn't have any ends on it, and it circles the room on the track. Which I think is just the coolest thing.
Yeah, even the sitting room has Kiss Goodnight. Something about the castle and the fireplace.
Yes, I think the castle appears on the mirror.
Yeah, or something like that.
There are 3 of them in the sitting room, but I can't remember what they all are because of course you can't take any pictures.
Yeah, there's
terrible.
A shoe. Is it something to do with the shoe or something like that?
Yeah, there's something that plays. When A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes, maybe?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Been a while.
Something that plays
have
music.
To do that tour again once 21 World goes away.
I know. We can get rid of that so we can do our tour. So, just a really cool space, and like I said, if you want to stay in a suite that's similar to the suites in the Dream Suite, Disneyland Hotel does have those available.
I want to see what the Mickey Mouse penthouse is all about, because that sounds pretty awesome. It's
pretty cool. It's kind of, it reminds me of the contemporary as far as art, but it's not sterile and gray. It's got that like pop culture kind of art going on, and it's very brightly colored. It's a lot of fun.
You should message Abby and Michael and see if they know what has replaced the Dream Suite on the Walk and Walt's Footsteps store.
You're right. I bet they do know. Yeah,
but
we should check.
All right, so I think that about covers Good Neighbors
if you're,
and all that
If you're
stuff.
in the suites on Disneyland Hotel, there is also the E-Ticket Club Lounge, which overlooks downtown Disney as an amenity, and then that is a place where you can get complimentary drinks, hors d'oeuvres, snacks throughout the day. It's similar to staying club level at any of the Walt Disney World resorts. So, but yeah, I do think that pretty much covers the rest of the Disneyland offerings. If you have questions about how to get the most out of your Disneyland vacation, give us a call, and we'll be happy to walk you through it and create the best package for your family. So, until next week, when we will be talking about Aulani.
Woo!
We will see you next week from Hawaii, but from fake Hawaii. See you
Say goodnight, Holly.